Are you thinking about moving to Phoenix, Arizona, and specifically looking for homes on large properties? Well, in today's video, I'm going to go over my top 6 cities where you can get a home on some acreage. Now, if you're new to this channel, my name is Faul, and I'm a real estate agent in the greater Phoenix area. And if you're looking to move here, maybe in a month or a year or even longer, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions through email, text. I would love to help you out and make sure Phoenix is a good fit for you. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that like button to stay up to date on all my new videos. All right, back to homes on some property. Now, what I mean by property, that means at least an acre or more. Now, here in the greater Phoenix area, there's not really any areas where you can find 20, 30, 40 acre pieces of land. I have people coming from areas of the country that do have that. And while there might be some of that out in the middle of the desert, way outside Phoenix, the areas I'm talking about don't have that. The most common you'll see in the areas I'm going to talk about today is going to be an acre, maybe 2.5, or 5 acres, an occasional 10 acres. In the greater Phoenix area, when somebody says they live on some land, they usually mean anywhere from an acre to 2.5 acres. Top 6 cities that I'm going to talk about today are specific to the North Phoenix area and the West Phoenix area. And as I'm talking about each of them, I'm going to go over the average sale price in the last year, and then some of the pros and cons and property types that we'll see in each of the cities. I'm going to count these down starting from number 6 all the way to 1, 6 being the highest average sales price and 1 being the lowest average sales price in the last year. The homes are at least an acre, but also not in an HOA, because it is a common thing that people don't like. Some of these cities don't have many HOAs, but some of them do. And so that's kind of how I broke it down. Starting off with number 6, and that is Scottdale, with a median sales price in the last year of $1.7 million. As expected, Scottdale was the highest of the cities I chose. Now, currently on the market, if you're looking for an acre, there's property as low as $465,000 on an acre, and as expensive as $10 million on 4.5 acres. A very large house and a lot of features, but very wide range. Now, in Scottdale, a lot of the property, when people are thinking of larger lots, kind of that area to have horses or whatnot, they're thinking of North Scottdale. And there is a lot of property in North Scottdale. Even if you were looking to buy land, there is some land, just raw land in North Scottdale available. But there's also acreage in South Scottdale. Price goes up because of the location. You're much closer to all the shopping and dining that Scottdale has to offer. So something to keep in mind. Also, as you get into North Scottdale, most of that is flat land, so you don't have to worry about, hey, if I buy 2 acres, is it going to be on the hillside? Most of the Scottdale area, unless you're in a couple of the real nice gated communities, is actually going to be usable land. Certain areas do have washes running through properties, so something to keep an eye on. Also, a lot of those will have septic tanks, either some sort of private well, shared well. Some areas even have hauled water, so something to definitely look into depending on where you're at. Certain areas are known for that. Scottdale definitely has a lot of options, so if location is something you're really wanting to be close to and it fits your budget, Scottdale does have a lot to offer. A lot of cool horse properties, but also still some opportunity for you to buy land and build your own house. Number 5 is Cave Creek, with an average sales price in last year of $1.4 million, so a little bit lower than Scottdale. Currently, there's properties ranging anywhere from the mid 700s all the way up to $8.5 million. That one has over 300 acres up in North Cave Creek, so very rare. Now, Cave Creek, in the southern part of Cave Creek, you're gonna have a little bit more flat terrain, so you see a lot of people there with horses, different livestock. As you get north, the homes kind of get elevated on different mountains, so it kind of changes probably the potential buyer. If you're somebody that wants that full acreage, acre or more to utilize, then the southern part of Cave Creek might be a better fit for you. Now, something to keep in mind with Cave Creek is there's not a ton of land, especially in the southern part, left to buy and build, you know, your own residence on. There's stuff in the northern part, but again, you're hillside, so you lose some of that usable lot square footage. And then some areas actually are connected to the city water, and there's a good amount of homes that are on septic in Cave Creek as well, so definitely want to look into that. Cave Creek is a great option if you want to be able to utilize all of the amenities Scottdale has. Maybe your budget's a little bit tighter than that. Cave Creek could be a great option, just a nice area. Number 4 is going to be Phoenix, with an average sales price of $980,000, so we're getting lower and lower each time. Now, this area of Phoenix, I specifically did the North Phoenix area, an area called Deems Hill, so far north of downtown Phoenix. It's off of I-17 and Carefree Highway. The reason I did that is in central Phoenix, there is large properties on acreage. However, most of the people I help and what they're looking for is to be outside the city, and I wanted to kind of get a good accurate number for what that would look like. So there is acreage in the city, and so that is an option if it's something you're looking to do. It can be more expensive depending on what you're looking at, however. In that North Phoenix area, there's homes currently on the market anywhere from the mid 400s all the way up to $2.5 million in this Desert Hills area. This area, there is awesome views looking north at Table Table Mesa. You're close to some hiking trails, or if you're mountain biking, and great access to Interstate 17, whether you need to go north out of town or into town, into Phoenix. So Desert Hills is a very desirable area, close to Cave Creek, just down Carefree Highway. So a great location, cheaper than the last two I covered, obviously Scottdale and Cave Creek, but you still get to be close to a lot of the amenities and then still kind of outside the hustle and bustle. Now in the area, there's not a ton of land left at all to build on. There's parcels here and there, but for the most part, the area is pretty well developed. Again, like all of these, there can be dirt roads, private water, shared well, private well, even hauled water in certain areas, depending on if there's a water table issue. So the North Phoenix area, it's definitely got a great location. You can go a little bit further west and you're at Lake Pleasant, probably in like 20-25 minutes, and great views. Number 3 is New River, and the average sales price in last year was $650,000. Now New River is just north of the area I was talking about, off of Carefree Highway, so it's just north of that and going up I-17 that way. So we kind of started out east, Scottdale, then kept coming west, Cave Creek, North Phoenix, and then we just went a little bit north of that to New River. I like New River a lot. There's great views. I will say, compared to the other 5 cities I'm talking about today, New River does have the least amount of properties in the city, so there's not as many homes to choose from, but there is acreage there. Currently there's homes anywhere as cheap as $500,000 all the way up to $1.5 million, again ranging from an acre up to 2.5 to 5 acres. Now New River, depending on where you're at, gets a little hilly in there, so some of the acreage you might have may not be usable, or maybe there's a wash coming through, but I find a lot of people like New River for the views, and it's just a little bit more quiet than some of the other areas. It's just tucked back in the mountains, and so a lot of people do like that about New River. Same like the others, you're going to be on septic tank, either shared well, private well, or hauled water. Some areas do that as well. So New River's a great option. I like the price of it. Location's great, so could be a good one for you. Number 2 is Buckeye, with an average sales price of $580,000, and currently there's homes anywhere from $450,000 on an acre all the way up to $1.7 million on 3.5 acres. So definitely a large range. Now Buckeye is directly west of downtown Phoenix. Take Interstate 10 directly west, anywhere from 45 minutes to honestly an hour and a half depending on traffic, but probably about an hour on average. And that's where it is, on the edge of town. It's kind of where developing is happening. There is still land for sale in Buckeye, so if you're looking to buy a piece of land and build, definitely a good amount of options in the Buckeye area. Now depending on where you're at in Buckeye, you can be, close to some nice mountains, either the south side of the White Tanks. They have some nice areas in there where the whole neighborhoods are kind of custom homes, RV garages, or you can get down into the southern part near the Australia Mountains and smaller homes. Some of the areas are not as custom built, but definitely allows you to get a little bit further away from the city. So a lot of people like that. But also what's nice about Buckeye is a lot of it has developed. So there's areas for you to go shopping and eat just within the city of Buckeye. You don't have to go to the next city over. There's also some areas that have farmland with the property. Now some of that farmland is getting bought up, of course, by distribution centers, but Buckeye definitely is a good option if you're looking for a good bang for your buck. Coming in at number 1 is Whitman, with an average sales price of $530,000, and currently you can find a home on an acre as low as $380,000 all the way up to $3.5 million on 20 acres. That one's very rare. I would say most of the properties are actually under $1 million, probably in the 600 to 800 range is more average of what's currently on the market. So the difference between, I would say, Whitman and all of the other cities I covered is all of Whitman is flat. There's no elevated properties. There's mountains, but they're further away. They're not even in Whitman. So something to think about, but still great views, nice flat desert. There is a lot of land still for sale, so if you're wanting to buy dirt and eventually build something or just invest in land. Whitman also does not have any sort of its own grocery store or dining. There's a gas station and a little mart in the downtown area, if you will, and then a bar. But really the bulk of your shopping and dining is going to be in Surprise, the next city. Now I anticipate Whitman will probably have some good growth coming up with how fast Surprise is growing, so definitely could be a good one. But just like the other ones, septic tanks, depending where you're at, you could be on a shared well or private well, so definitely a lot of options. There it was, my top 6 picks for the best cities to buy a home on some acreage, specific to the North and the West Valley of Phoenix. Hopefully it was helpful, give you a little bit of insight into each area, give you a little idea of what it costs. So if you're looking to buy a home on some land or even buy just land, feel free to reach out to me through call, text, or email. My information will be below, and I would love to connect with you and answer any questions you might have. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.